Hi, just thought I'd do a bit of a review of the HTC Touch Pro, but in particular thinking about whether or not this device is a good upgrade from the HTC Tytn II. Now, if you look at my other videos, I did a series of reviews on the Tytn II as a user's point of view, and I've since I had that phone for quite a long time, and managed to convince my service provider, in my case Vodafone, to do an upgrade to the Touch Pro, this guy here. The Tytn II I didn't actually get from my phone provider. I actually bought it outright, which cost a lot of money at the time, and it did sort of beg a question as to whether or not it's a good idea to immediately upgrade from the Tytn II to the Touch Pro, because the Touch Pro, if you were to buy it outright rather than go through your phone provider on a tariff, for example, is going to cost you something like £500. So you're talking about 750 to 800 US dollars as an example. So it's an expensive device. I managed to persuade my service provider to let me have this one on a very reasonable tariff. If I was going to buy it outright and spend that sort of money, the question I'd have to put to myself is it really worth it? It's an expensive device, and does it really have all the features that are such that it would make me want to put my Tytn II to one side and get this one? Well, I suppose what you've got to do is compare one against the other. And there are videos out there that do just that. So what they don't necessarily do is say whether it's worth the upgrade from a Tytn II to the Touch Pro. So really looking at the Tytn II here, the Touch Pro here, as far as comparison to the Tytn II is concerned, and unfortunately I don't have my Tytn II anymore, I sold it on. The first thing is it's a lot smaller. A fair bit smaller, it's a lot lighter. The Tytn II is about 192 grams, this one I think is about 160 odd grams, and you notice the difference. It's still a heavy device, and when you put it in your pocket you'll certainly know about it. The other thing is this has got a faster processor than the Tytn II, but to be quite honest, that really doesn't make an awful lot of difference. The Tytn II had a 400 MHz Qualcomm MSM 7200 processor. This one is the MSM 7201A running at 528 MHz. Does that really make an awful lot of difference? Well, if it wasn't for the fact that the Tytn II had real issues with drivers where the video was not properly accelerated, if it wasn't for that, then it probably wouldn't make an awful lot of difference. Now, this particular device also has a keyboard, the same way as the Tytn II does. It's got a 5-row keyboard, the top row being numbers and standard QWERTY for the rest of it, which is very, very nice to use. I have to say the buttons on the Tytn II are a lot bigger, but I was concerned that with my dirty great thumbs that would be a problem on the Touch Pro. Actually it isn't. Provided your thumb is fairly central over the button that you want to press, then the keys are such that it will press down on the key that you require, being the one with the most pressure that you put on it. The other thing is that the screen flipping, or moving from landscape to portrait and vice versa, is pretty quick on the Touch Pro, whereas on the Tytn II, again because of its video issues, was a bit laggy, to say the least. The Touch Pro has a VGA screen, and that is very nice. That is a real pleasure to use in comparison to the QVGA screen on the Tytn II. So that's a major plus. In terms of functionality and what it's got inside it, this has got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, built-in GPS. It's got a 3.2 megapixel camera. As I say, it's got a 5-row QWERTY keyboard as opposed to the 4-row in the Tytn II. It's got TouchFlow 3D, which is very nice. It's quite responsive. I have to say the Tytn II is not as responsive by quite a long way compared to the Touch Pro when mucking about with the screen like this. But having said that, it for me is not a great issue. Touch flow is nice. It's a bit flaky at times. It's not always doing what you want it to do, so I'm sort of trying to move it across fairly quickly here, and it does struggle to keep up at times. I think the thing to bear in mind about Touch Flow is it's a launch program more than anything else. All it is a method of getting to standard Windows mobile functionality. This is running mobile 6.1, and by the way, if you have got a Tytn II, you can upgrade to 6.1, getting a ROM from HTC's website if you're registered with them. So in terms of the operating system, it's exactly the same. But for example, here you've got settings on this particular screen. If I want to go to more settings, I just press all settings at the bottom. Of course, it just throws you straight into Windows Mobile. You know, the standard Windows Mobile screens. So let's bear in mind that Touch Flow, yes, it's nice for getting quickly to bits and pieces like your contacts and your phone and all the rest of it. At the end of the day, all it is a launcher that sits on top of Windows Mobile, so it's nothing to write home about, and you can disable it if you want to, so you can use this as a standard Pocket PC interface if you prefer. In terms of design, again, there's lots of videos out there on YouTube. It's very solidly built indeed, and so is the Tytn II. Of course, the one thing that this one doesn't do is it doesn't flip. The screen doesn't flip, or tilt rather, which the Tytn II did. I have to say I use the tilting screen on the Tytn II an awful lot, and I do miss that. Now, of course, you also have to bear in mind that the Touch Pro has also now been superseded. There is the Touch Pro 2, and there's also the Diamond 2. So already this one is not out of date, but it also has a new replacement out, such as the speed of development from HTC on their phones. They're always very innovative, I have to say. That's why I do like HTC. And they're always bringing out new designs and concepts, and the Touch Pro 2, interestingly enough, has brought back the tilting screen that was on the Tytn II. So it was probably a bit of a mistake of HTC not to get this one tilting as well. Okay, so back to the original question: is it worth you getting rid of your Tytn II and replacing it with the Touch Pro? Well, I think that really boils down to good old-fashioned money. If to get one of these phones you're going to have to fork out your own money by buying it outright as a SIM-free device as opposed to go through your service provider, then you've got to have fairly deep pockets. Mine weren't deep enough, unfortunately, so I had to convince my service provider to let me have one of these. Otherwise, I'd still be using the Tytn II. If money is no object, then I'd say, yeah, go for it. It's a lovely device. It really is very, very well made. It's extremely responsive. The screen is very, very nice to use. And as I say, I keep harking on about the build quality, but it is very, very good indeed. If, on the other hand, you know, money is an object, which is certainly my case and for most people, then I would say that at the end of the day, the Touch Pro, as nice as it is not going to give you a massive amount more than the Tytn II, and you might be worth waiting perhaps for the Touch Pro 2 in a while, when perhaps the price of that particular device comes down a bit. For me, if I had forked out all my hard-earned cash on a SIM-free one, I think I would have thought to myself, I wish I'd kept my Tytn II, because I would have waited for the next iteration, being the Touch Pro 2. That said, I'm very, very happy with this device. As I say, I got it through my service provider, so that was okay. But if you're thinking of trying to scrape the money together to buy this outright, as I say, it's about £500 or $700 or $800 US dollars. That's a lot of money, and I think you do just as well with your Tytn II than you would the Touch Pro for the time being.